Welcome to another video from ultimatealgebra.com. In this video, we will be looking at solving equations. This is by far the most important topic in math. Everything you'll do in math, whether it's division or graphs or whatever, is to aid you to solve equations. It's important you watch the full video because it's step by step, and also watch all subsequent videos. One-step equations. Let's look at an example. X plus 2 equals 5. Solve for x. The idea of solving equations is to move everything with the x to the other side of the equation by performing the opposite operation on it. We want only the x to be on one side of the equation. So here, we want to move the plus 2 to the other side of the equation. We do that by performing the opposite operation on both sides of the equation. The opposite operation of addition is subtraction. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. The opposite operation of exponent is root or radical. We know the opposite operation of addition is subtraction, so we will subtract 2 from both sides. Once the opposite operation is done, those two numbers simply cancel out. So here, the 2 cancels out. 5 minus 2 is 3, so x will be equal to 3. Let's look at another example. 5a equals 35. Solve for a. Here again, we want to get rid of anything that is with the a. This means we have to get rid of the 5. So 5a is the same as 5 times a. Since the 5 is multiplying, we will perform the opposite operation on it. We know that the opposite operation of multiplication is division, so we will divide both sides by 5. Since we perform the opposite operation, we can say that the 5 will cancel out. Now 35 divided by 5 is 7, so a equals 7. Now try these questions and leave your answers in the comments section. Number 1, solve for x and x over 9 equals 3. Number 2, solve for x and x minus 6 equals 12. Number 3, solve for b and 3b equals 18. Remember, you are just performing the opposite operation on both sides. So in the first question, for example, the 9 is dividing. We will perform the opposite operation on both sides of the equation. So you will have to multiply both sides by 9. The 9 will cancel out since we performed the opposite operation on it. 3 times 9 is 27. So x will be 27. Okay, I'll leave the next 2 for you. In the examples we've done so far, we needed to perform only one operation to solve the questions. So for our first example, we just did subtraction. For our second example, we just did division. And for this one, we just did multiplication. That is why they are called one-step equations. Two-step equations. Let's look at an example to explain it. 2x plus 3 equals 11. Solve for x. We said earlier that the whole idea of solving equations is to get rid of everything and leave the x on one side of the equation. For this question, we will see that we have to get rid of the multiplication by 2 and the plus 3. Remember, we said 2x is the same as 2 times x. When there are more than one operation, we use the idea of the reversal of the order of operations to know which one to get rid of first. So here is the order of operation. If you are not familiar with the order of operation, we've put a link in the description for you to master it. It's important that you watch it. Knowing the order of operation will make solving of equations super easy. We can see that in the reversal of the order of operation, we have addition first and multiplication second. So we will get rid of the plus 3. We get rid of the plus 3 by performing the opposite operation on it. So we will subtract 3 from both sides. The 3 will cancel out. 11 minus 3 is 8. So we have 2x equals 8. Next, we will get rid of the multiplication by dividing both sides by 2, since division is the opposite of multiplication. The 2 will cancel out. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Therefore, x equals 4. Before we take more examples, we want you to do us a huge favor by liking this video. This is really the best thing you can do to encourage us to make more videos. If we don't know you like the videos, we won't have any reason to post more. Okay, let's take our next example. Solve for x and x over 3 minus 4 equals 6. We want to get rid of all the numbers attached to the x so we can have the x alone on one side of the equation. To achieve this, we know that we must get rid of the divided by 3 and the minus 4. Let's write our order of operation. Please, you don't need to be writing the order of operations in your solutions at school. We are using it for teaching purposes. We are using the reversal of the order of operations, so we are working from the bottom up. We will see that in this form we must do subtraction first and division second. To get rid of the minus 4, we must perform the opposite operation on both sides of the equation, so we will add 4 to both sides. The 4 will cancel out. 6 plus 4 is 10. We now have x divided by 3 equals 10. Next, we will get rid of the divided by 3. We do this by performing the opposite operation on both sides of the equation. So we will multiply both sides by 3. The 3 will cancel out. 10 times 3 is 30. Therefore, x equals 30. In most instances, for two-step equations, you will work out your addition or subtraction part first. Then you will work out your multiplication or division part next. Please, this is not always the case. Topics like this requires practice, practice, practice. You want to be so good at it that you don't need to use the reversal of the order of operations anymore. You see a question and you just know which one to do first and second. You can get more practice with the link in the description. Try the following and leave your answers in the comments section. Number 4, 3x minus 5 equals 13. Solve for x. Number 5, x over 5 plus 3 equals 8. Solve for x. Most confusing two-step equations. Two-step equations that require distribution or has an operation in parentheses is the one most students get confused with. In fact, not all math teachers agree that this is a proper two-step equation, but it is. Let's look at 2 parentheses x plus 5 equals 16. We will solve it two ways. Method 1, we will first distribute the 2. The 2 will multiply everything in the parentheses. So the 2 will multiply the x to get 2x, plus the 2 will multiply the 5 to get 10. We have 2x plus 10 equals 16. We can see that we have a familiar two-step equation. Let's write our order of operation. Using the reversal of the order of operation, we will do the plus 10 first, and then the times 2. We get rid of the plus 10 by subtracting 10 from both sides. The 10 will cancel out. 16 minus 10 is 6. So we have 2x equals 6. Next, we will get rid of the times 2 by dividing both sides by 2. The 2 will cancel out. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So x equals 3. Here, you realize that we did an extra step of distribution before we could apply the two-step equation. You can solve it this way if it's easy for you, but that's not the best way to solve it. Let's look at method 2. For the purpose of teaching, we're going to break this down, but your goal is to be familiar with questions like this so that you don't need all this breaking down and thinking to solve it. Let's write the order of operation again. In the order of operation, parentheses are performed first. When we say parentheses are performed first, what we actually mean is that the operation in parentheses is performed first. So if we have 3 times parentheses 2 plus 4, then we will perform the 2 plus 4 first because it's in parentheses. So basically, we perform the addition operation first because it's in parentheses. Similarly, if we have 4 plus 6, parentheses 2 times 7, exponent 3, we will perform the 2 times 7 first because it's in parentheses. So we perform the multiplication operation first because it is in parentheses. Now, since we know that equations are solved with the reversal of the order of operation, it means that we will solve the operation in the parentheses last. With that in mind, let's look at our question. 2 parentheses x plus 5 equals 16. Remember, 2 parentheses x plus 5 is the same as 2 times parentheses x plus 5. Here, since the x plus 5 is in parentheses, we will call it a parentheses operation. So we have multiplication operation and a parentheses operation. Using the reversal of the order of operation, we will do the multiplication first and parentheses last. We get rid of the times 2 by dividing both sides by 2. The 2 will cancel out. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now we can remove the parentheses to get x plus 5 equals 8. Once you're about to perform the operation in parentheses, you can remove the parentheses. We will get rid of the plus 5 by subtracting 5 from both sides. The 5 will cancel out. 8 minus 5 is 3. Therefore, x equals 3. You will realize that here we did only 2 steps, Therefore, this is a true two-step equation. Try this question. 5 parentheses x minus 7 equals 55. Solve for x. Pause the video and try it first. We can see that we have a multiplication operation and an operation in parentheses. Using the reversal of the order of operation, we will do the multiplication operation first and then the operation in parentheses. We remove the times 5 by dividing both sides by 5. The 5 will cancel out. 55 divided by 5 is 11. So now we have x minus 7 equals 11. Again, once you're about to perform the operation in parentheses, you can remove the parentheses. To remove the negative 7, we will add 7 to both sides of the equation. The 7 will cancel out. 11 plus 7 is 18. So x equals 18. Let's look at parentheses x minus 6 over 4 equals 6. Please pause this video and try it before you watch our solution. Here we have a division operation and an operation in parentheses. Let's write our order of operation. From the reversal of the order of operation, we have to do division first, in parentheses last. We get rid of the divided by 4 by multiplying both sides by 4. The 4 will cancel out. 6 times 4 is 24. Now we can remove the parentheses to have x minus 6 equals 24. We get rid of the minus 6 by adding 6 to both sides. The 6 will cancel out. 24 plus 6 is 30. Therefore, x equals 30. When it comes to division, the parentheses is usually not written. So, parentheses, x minus 6 over 4 will be simply written as x minus 6 all over 4. When you say a number dividing two or more numbers this way, parentheses is implied. So, a plus b plus c all over 5 is the same as parentheses a plus b plus c all over 5. Please try these and leave your answers in the comments section. Number 6. 3 parentheses x minus 5 equals 21. Number 7. X plus 4 all over 7 equals 6. Multi-step equations is used to imply any equation that you need to perform more than one operation in order to solve it. So two-step equations is actually an example of multi-step equation. Let's use this example to explain it. 2a over 7 minus 5 equals 3. Solve for a. The process of solving is nothing different from what we did to solve two-step equations. We want to get the a on one side of the equation. So we have to remove the times 2, the minus 5, and the divided by 7. We remove them by performing the opposite operation on them. We know that the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. And the opposite operation of exponent is roots. We also know that in order to know which operation to perform first, we will use the reversal of the order of operation. So here is our order of operation. So using the reversal of the order of operation, we will see that we have to do the minus 5 first. Then we will do the division by 7 next. And finally, the times 2. We get rid of the minus 5 by performing the opposite operation on it. So we'll add 5 to both sides. The 5 will cancel out. 3 plus 5 is 8. So now we have 2a over 7 equals 8. We know we will do our division next. We get rid of the divided by 7 by performing the opposite operation on it. We will multiply both sides by 7. The 7 will cancel out. 8 times 7 is 56. So now we have 2a equals 56. Finally, we will get rid of the times 2 by performing the opposite operation on it. So we will divide both sides by 2. The 2 will cancel out. 56 divided by 2 is 28. Therefore, a equals 28. So here you can see that it's really just like the two-step equation. We are just doing more steps. Let's take another example. 3x squared plus 8 equals 20. Solve for x. Here again, we want to get the x on one side of the equation. In order to do that, we have to get rid of the multiplication by 3, the exponent 2, and the plus 8. We will use the reversal of the order of operation to know which one to perform first. Let's bring our order of operation. So here's our order of operation. In the reversal, we will notice that we have to do the plus 8 first. Then we will do the multiplication by 3. And then we will do the exponent 2. We will get rid of the plus 8 by performing the opposite operation on it. Subtract 8 from both sides. The 8 will cancel out. 20 minus 8 is 12. So now we have 3x squared equals 12. Next, we have to get rid of the multiplication by 3. We do the opposite operation. We divide both sides by 3. The 3 will cancel out. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So now we have x squared equals 4. We finally have to get rid of the exponent 2. We do the opposite operation. The opposite operation of exponent 2 is square root. We find the square root of both sides. This will cancel out. The square root of 4 is 2. Therefore, x equals 2. Hope you are enjoying this video. Please don't forget to like and share this video. It's important you try a lot of questions. Understanding alone is not enough. Practicing will increase your speed and accuracy. Let's take a question to explain this. 4x plus 5 equals 9 plus 2x. Solve for x. We have been having the x represented only once. Example, 4x plus 5 equals 9. But here, we have the x represented 2 times. In a case like this, we want to move the x values to one side of the equation and work on it. So here, you can choose to move the 4x or 2x. I'll move the 2x to the other side of the equation. To do that, since the 2x is adding, you will subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. The 2x will cancel out. Now, 4x minus 2x is 2x. So we have 2x plus 5 equals 9. We now have a familiar two-step equation, which you should be able to solve if you've watched our previous videos. But let's go over it. We want to get rid of all the numbers attached to the x, so we can have the x alone on one side of the equation. To achieve this, we know that we must get rid of the times 2 and the plus 5. Let's write our order of operation. Please, you don't need to be writing the order of operation in your solutions at school. We are using it for teaching purposes. We are using the reversal of the order of operation, so we are working from the bottom up. We will see that in this form, we must do the addition first and the multiplication second. To get rid of the plus 5, we must perform the opposite operation on both sides of the equation. So we will subtract 5 from both sides. The 5 cancels out. 9 minus 5 is 4. We now have 2x equals 4. Next, we will get rid of the multiplication by 2. We do this by performing the operation opposite on both sides of the equation. So we will divide both sides by 2. The 2 will cancel out. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Therefore, x equals 2. Let's take another example. Negative 2y plus 1 equals 3y plus 16. Solve for y. Here again, we want to first move the y's to one side of the equation. You can choose to move the negative 2y or the 3y. I'll move the negative 2y to the other side of the equation. To do that, since we have negative 2y, I will add 2y to both sides of the equation. The 2y will cancel out. Now 3y plus 2y is 5y. So we have 1 equals 5y plus 16. We now have a familiar two-step equation, which you should be able to solve, but let's go over it. We want to get rid of all the numbers attached to the y, so we can have the y alone on one side of the equation. To achieve this, we know that we must get rid of the times 5 and the plus 16. Let's write our order of operation. We are using the reversal of the order of operations, so we are working from the bottom up. We will see that in this form we must do the addition first and the multiplication second. To get rid of the plus 16, we must perform the opposite operation on both sides of the equations. So we will subtract 16 from both sides. The 16 will cancel out. 1 minus 16 is negative 15. We now have negative 15 equals 5y. Next, we will get rid of the multiplication by 5. We do this by performing the opposite operation on both sides of the equation. So we will divide both sides by 5. The 5 will cancel out. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. Therefore, y equals negative 3. Let's look at a more complex example. Some equations require initial operations to simplify them before you can even start to solve them. 2x minus 4 equals 5, parentheses x plus 1, parentheses minus 4x. Solve for x. When you have a question like this, your first step is to distribute the 5 so that you can have the x out of the parentheses. So the 5 will multiply the x to get 5x, and the 5 will multiply the 1 to get 5. So now we have 2x minus 4 equals 5x plus 5 minus 4x. Next, we can work on the 5x minus 4x, since they are like terms, to get 1x. 1x is the same as simply x. We now have 2x minus 4 equals x plus 5. I will move the x to the other side of the equation by subtracting x from both sides. The x will cancel out. 2x minus x is x. So we now have x minus 4 equals 5. Now we have simply a one-step equation. Since the 4 is subtracting, we can remove it by adding 4 to both sides. The 4 will cancel out. 5 plus 4 is 9. Therefore, x equals 9. Please go over this and practice, practice, practice. You can check out more using the link in the description. We will end this video here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. See you in the next video.